Welcome to our second lesson in our Fundamentals of Golf series. Today we're going to be talking about the grip. Again, my name is Les Ross, and I'm joined by my brother Craig Ross via Zoom from South Africa. Together, we are the directors at Highlander School of Golf. During this lesson, we're going to cover three areas. As we do with every lesson, we go over the importance of the fundamental. So we'll do that for the importance of the grip. Craig will then give us some pointers on how to position the left hand, and then we follow that up with positioning of the right hand. Now, you're going to hear us refer to lead hand and trail hand. Because obviously in the lesson we are focusing on a right-handed golfer, but the lead hand by definition is your hand that's pointing towards the target, and the trail hand is behind that. So why is proper grip so important? Well, it directly influences the swing mechanics, allowing for a smoother and controlled swing. But more importantly, it also affects the club face and how the club face is aiming at contact. And as we were talking about in the previous lesson on alignment, having a square club face to the target is critical, and the grip is going to help in that regard. A good grip also allows you to be consistent from swing to swing. So let's talk about the positioning of the left hand, and I'll turn it over to Craig.
Thanks, Des. Right. So the center line will relate to the bottom front edge of the club face, that is. So that's the interaction between the shaft, grip, and club face. And you'll notice the top far left picture, you see how the lead hand fingers are straight and pointing towards the ankles. Now, the reason for that position is to get the club to run diagonally across in your fingers of the trail hand as well as the lead hand. In this case, the lead hand. So when we fold it over, you can see it in the next picture. You see where the club's running in the fingers more than the palm. And the other major factor, and please understand this major factor, is that bottom cheek is on top of the club. And you'll notice also the club is slightly down from that cheek. So in other words, make sure the whole of your hand is on the club.
The other thing to point out in that picture, you notice that the end of the club is protruding from that cheek by just around an inch or so.
Yeah.
And then on the bottom picture here, the way that you position your thumb should be slightly to the right of the center line. So it's positioned more to the back end of the club.
Quite
Let's
correct.
talk about the right hand or the trail hand now.
Again, the trail hand, as we've done in the lead hand, you see how where the fingers are pointing down towards the ankles. Again, so that the club naturally runs diagonally across your fingers into the palm of your hand. And in the next picture, you'll notice that the club's doing exactly that. And you'll notice the lead thumb, where it's placed and how the trail hand will wrap around that thumb, and the thumb will go in between the two cheeks of your trail hand once you've wrapped the trail hand around the grip, the trail hand grip position.
Okay.
Liz will talk about the importance of that forefinger and thumb.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah. So and that's shown in the bottom left-hand picture. The way that you position your index finger should be, you're squeezing the club as if you're squeezing a trigger on a gun, and that index finger, as shown here, should be behind the grip. The thumb should be slightly to the right of center on the grip. And in doing so, you notice that we create this little V, and that V should then be pointing up towards your right shoulder or your trail shoulder. And if if your right hand is not positioned correctly, then that V is going to be pointing somewhere else. So you want to make sure that that V is aiming up towards that trail shoulder. The last picture that we have on the slide here shows the interlock grip, and this may be a little bit strange to start, but it's critical because the reason why we interlock your hands as shown here on your fingers is to bring both hands closer together, and in doing so, you allow much more freedom of movement of the wrists throughout the swing.
And Les, we also talk about tension. Tension is quite important. The tension is the position of the club in your hands is the strength of that grip. So you don't have to grip the club tight. You don't want to be in a situation where you're actually trying to strangle the club because what happens again, it affects the natural movement of your wrists and then takes away natural club head speed from the club face.
Okay. So next slide here, Craig, you can lead us through some of the checks that you can do to make sure you've got a proper grip.
Well, it's simply put, once you've got your grip, just go and stand in front of a mirror and just look at your position and see where the V's are pointing. The V's pointing up towards the trail shoulder from your lead hand or your trail hand. And if so, then it's great. So just simply try and copy this. That's how I like to teach people because you really have got to take a bit of time on the grip. So we've all got different size hands, got long palms, short fingers, long fingers, short palms. Anyway, you get the gist of where I'm going with this. So you've got to take time in finding your niche with along the lines of the key points that we're making here. And the reason for the arrowed picture is that going back again to the bottom cheek of your lead hand is that it's got to be on top of the club. That makes life so much easier to get that V in your lead hand to point towards the trail shoulder.
Yeah, very important. So, there are some aids that you can pick up to help you practice the positioning of your grip. And we show one here on the bottom right. Not only does it help you position your hands correctly, but you'll notice that there's two V's on this aid. So if your grip is positioned correctly, those two V's then will be pointing up to your trail shoulder. So if you want to pick up one of these, we offer it on our products page at highlanderschoolgolf.com. So that concludes the second lesson in our Golf Fundamentals series. If you're joining us for the first time and you want to participate in the complete series, then go to highlanderschoolofgolf.com and just click on the lessons tab and you can sign up for the complete series. There's a total of 8 lessons in our fundamental series. Please feel free to share this lesson with any of your friends. We've got 6 more lessons ahead of us. We hope that you've enjoyed this lesson, and we look forward to working with you on the balance of the series.